Making new friends after you become an adult, after you exit college and go out into the world is super friggin' hard. Today, I'm gonna cover a all-inclusive guide on how to make friends as an adult. You need to be an adult while you watch this video, otherwise this video won't even make sense, especially if you're in school, if you're in an environment that curates friendships naturally. This is not the video for you. But if you are a 21 plus year old thriving in some city and you're like, damn, I'm lonely, there's millions of people, but I don't do anything on the weekends and I'm just at home watching these stupid YouTube videos, this video is for you. You have to set expectations correctly. Life is all about setting correct expectations. This is gonna sound super sad, but you need to embrace and emphasize and re-emphasize in your mind and realize that the life that you had before as a child, as a college student, as an elementary school kid is not the life that you're about to have. In fact, it is quite unfortunate how this society and life has been structured, where you have 16-ish years of school and this environment curated personally by and for this community. You see these people every single day. You are with people that are of similar age all the time. That is not how most of society works. You're not going to have the friends that Disney Channel glorifies, where everyone is coming together and you have one person from every single diversity group into this one kumbaya, hold hands together and have a wonderful life together. Realistically, as you get older and older, a lot of the friends you have are one-on-one or people that you happen to just pass by for a brief period of time. It's not going to be the 6 perfect member friend group that you have, the one funny kid, the one smart kid, the one kid that has all the money, the one kid that has all the connections, and then you bring together and you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's mostly just people that you happen to meet at work, happen to meet at community gatherings, happen to meet at church, happen to meet on Bumble or Hinge, people that you just happen to meet or meet for the first time or meet only for a couple times and perhaps they fly away. Think about how many times in the past year or two or since you've graduated that you probably thought, oh, this person I want to hang out with a lot. This person I had a blast. But then because of them moving away or they're too busy, you're too busy, you might have never seen them again after that magical, beautiful one day. I think it's really important to emphasize and be okay with this. As someone who has had friends their whole life, and I would argue that I'm on the spectrum end of having a lot of people, but I've always wondered, why don't I have my tightest group of friends? I had this for the first time in college. I am still in touch with these people, but overall in my 25-year lifetime, most of my friends just came and went, and there were peaks during COVID or when I was in Chicago, when I was in Virginia, when I was in LA, that I had a certain number of friends that I was very close to that I would see 2-3 times a week. But eventually, as with most adulthood friends go, they sometimes and oftentimes simmer away and you move on to the next. I used to suffer with this and say, why don't I have the friends that I'm forever friends with? But that's just most of the times not possible. Unless you're born somewhere, you stay there the entire time, you went to college there the entire time, you find work there, you're involved in all these community things, and every other person is also in that. Even among that, people are so different that sustaining such friendships is super, super hard. The best way to approach adulthood friendship is understanding that at some point or a very near time future, that person might very well leave your friend group or leave your environment. That's just the reality. Embracing and accepting this truth makes it a lot easier, and recognizing that people at the end of the day, you shouldn't think as disposable, but it's okay if they leave. They don't have to be your best friend. Most likely they won't stick around, especially if you're in the city, if you're a young professional and things change. With that in mind, with setting that expectation and being realistic, now then you can go out and start making some friends. As we are creatures of habit and we are men and women of communities, and we have been trained and somewhat brainwashed for 16 plus years, if you've gone through normal public education and went to college, your best bet at finding people is through other communities. We're very bad at relating or connecting with people that you have nothing in relation to or nothing that you're being tied to. That's why a lot of times people that you find new friends that you gain during adulthood are typically through work or church or extracurricular events like a soccer club or a tennis club that you meet in some type of common shared interest that allow you to, 1, find time to do things together, and 2, talk about things that are in relation. When you're in school, a lot of times the things that you talk about are people at school, work, for school, things that you share about the future, like finding internships or finding jobs for the future. Human beings naturally need things to connect to relate to together, to stay connected and stay friends. As you get older, people become very diversified. Unless you're in the same job, there's not many common interests, which is why it's easiest to find friends at work or in other community-related things. It's very important to immerse yourself into various groups if finding friends is your goal, and get a common interest going to get you guys to talk about, be shared interests, passionate about similar things. And two, almost forcefully / inorganically meet these people over and over and over again. And on top of that, geography is quite important. As much as we say that we're in the age of digitalization and there's social media connecting people, it's also important to place yourself in areas that you might find similar people. If you're someone that is already married and with kids and you're super young, but you're hustling and bustling in the heart of New York City where people are not necessarily ready to settle down, it's going to be harder to relate to them and find common interests or common activities that they might want that you might also want. But if you're going to move into a suburb and you're the flip and you're a young professional who's ready to party, go out clubbing, but those resources, those activities aren't around you, but also there's no one that theoretically wants to do that with you, it's gonna be very hard to make friends. You need to be in an area where you can share these things, find people with common interest, and do things together. All of these things tied together. And one thing that I'm trying to almost admit to myself is that putting in effort is quite important. With anything and with everything, especially as I get older and there's no organic ways to run into people at the locker room or see each other during class or even across the cubicle. If you're not someone that wants to find friends at work, you need to put in active effort to make friends and sustain and grow that friendship. You need to be doing things together, grabbing a meal, hitting them up, texting them, asking them how they are, very, very actively for friendships to sustain itself, because people are busy. People are extremely self-focused, especially at a young professional 20s, 30s age. And their priority is not necessarily the friendships that they are starting out or trying to sustain. So if you're someone that truly values friendship, I think it's truly important to put in that active effort in that friendship as much as you can. Income level to a certain degree does matter. You need to be able to enjoy things together. If you're someone that enjoys Michelin star restaurants, the friend that you would like to be friends with that can't afford that or don't want to afford that isn't going to come with you every single Friday to spend hundreds of dollars on this amount of spaghetti. They're probably going to just want to go to a Chinese food in downtown Chinatown for a cash-only BYOB bar. There needs to be a match between the activities that you do, even if it's not of shared interest, but on a monetary amount. Money is important in any aspect of life. A lot of this, especially if you're not overly extroverted and you don't need multiple people in life, gets often solved by finding a significant other. I found plenty of people that seem to be very lonely or seek friends or had a lot of friends kind of similar to me, but the moment that they got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, they seem to have all their problems almost resolved because the things that they want to do, they just end up doing with their significant other. In closing, finding friends as an adult is extremely difficult. There's nothing that is set in place as structure, as infrastructure that you've been used to, especially for 16-ish years, that you no longer have. You need to actively place yourself into communities, especially if you're not looking for friends at work, which oftentimes is not the best option for people that are looking for true friends. I think it's really important to put an effort to put yourself into communities, make enough to enjoy the things that you want to enjoy with the people that you want to enjoy with, and be in a geographical location that you find other people that are similar to you. I'd love to hear what you guys think about finding friends. I've had trouble definitely as soon as I started adulthood. I think I've kind of figured it out by now, but there's always more troubles to come, especially if I end up moving out of New York. We'll see. More to come. I thank you guys for watching. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Let's go.